What's going on, guys? Steve here with the Detroit Den 313, talking another Detroit Lions episode. Not very often. I think this is actually my first time ever doing 3 episodes in one day, so I hope it's appreciated. I'm doing it because the 4th of July is coming up, and I got some family things I want to take care of, some time I want to spend with some people who are visiting. So I'm doing 3 episodes today. I did 2 this morning. If you guys want to check those out, episode is going to be about some rookies that I think. I've had a buddy ask me the other day, who do I think are going to be the most impactful rookies? I said, man, we got some studs. We got some dudes that we drafted. Like, if this draft class is even close to the 2023 draft class, Brad Holmes, just write your ticket to the Hall of Fame. And mainly, when my buddy asked me this, the immediate answer, obviously the easy answer was Terrion Arnold. I think he's obviously going to be a day one starter. So let's just take a quick look at Terrion Arnold. I'm going to break it down just a little bit for you. At the combine, he was one of the best. Actually, he was the 2nd graded cornerback in the draft with a score of 85. That's 2nd among cornerbacks in this past draft, a score of 6.45. And he was labeled as a quote unquote good starter within 2 years. That's according to NFL.com. You guys can get that information from his prospect profile on NFL.com. Just check out his draft label, and you'll see that information. I'm not stealing anything. It's right on there for you guys to all go see. So let me ask you guys the question. A good starter within 2 years. I think he's going to be a good starter this year. I think he's already locked into that cornerback 2 position. He's going to be opposite of Carlton Davis. He did it all in mandatory mini camps, OTAs. He was taking reps over there. When it comes to rookies, there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be some bumps in the road. There are going to be some peaks and some valleys. There's going to be times he looks absolutely phenomenal. And then I know that there's going to be times he struggles, but I don't think it's going to be very often, and I don't think it's going to be for very long. I'm not worried about it. He's coming from Alabama. Alabama has been a pool of talent for the NFL for the past almost 20 years since Nick Saban was there, who just retired. So really just recently, we've just had a pool of Alabama players coming to the NFL, and specifically the Detroit Lions. You know, the Lions and Brad Holmes love drafting those Bama boys. Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamison Williams, Brian Branch, now Terrion Arnold. There's probably a couple out there that I'm forgetting, but Terrion Arnold is tested against the SEC, which is arguably the best conference in college football. It's not even close, really. Like they've dominated. I'm a Big Ten guy, so it's kind of pains me to say that, but I'm not going to get on here and throw shade. Like, I got to give some credit where credit's due. Like, the SEC conference has dominated college football the last 15 years. Whether you like it or don't like it, it's just the facts. National championships speak for themselves, and Alabama carries most of those. So they've literally just been putting guys in the NFL hand over fist, and we're lucky enough to get some of them on the Lions team. Terrion Arnold, I think, is going to be a day one starter. I think he's going to be a very, very good day one starter. And dare I say, he's going to be in the mix for Defensive Rookie of the Year. If Sauce Gardner can win it with hardly any interceptions, I think Terrion Arnold can win it. Now, I know Sauce Gardner is not the same type of player as Terrion Arnold. He's one of a kind. I don't like making comparisons, but it was just recently he beat out our guy Aiden Hutchinson for that Defensive Rookie of the Year. So that's kind of the comparison that a lot of the corners that are coming into the NFL are being labeled with or tagged with is he the next Sauce Gardner? I don't think Terrion Arnold is the next Sauce Gardner. I don't need him to be. I don't want him to be. I just need him to be a really, really good corner for the Detroit Lions, because last year we struggled on our passing defense. I've thrown the stats out at you guys. You know, we were giving up 23 points per game, like 300 yards passing the last 6-7 games of the season against top-notch corner or receivers. And our cornerback room was banged up. Emmanuel Mosley, CJ Gardner-Johnson was out. We were picking up guys like Kendall Vildor from practice squads, throwing out Jerry Jacobs and hoping for the best. Brad Holmes went out and he addressed our whole entire secondary, not just in free agency, but also in the draft with Ennis Rakestraw as well. So our secondary is going to be good. The face of it is really going to be Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold. We got two corners who I think are going to be absolutely exceptional. And I have no doubt about it that this defense is going to be top 10 in the NFL by the end of the year. We added at least, at a bare minimum, 5 starters on defense just in free agency and the draft. That's one of the most in the NFL. And I challenge you guys to name another team who added more this offseason. And I don't think anyone did. Like the Detroit Lions on defense alone, 5 starters. Terrion Arnold, Carlton Davis are probably the biggest two. DJ Reader is very, very important too. I'm not trying to downplay his signing either. But Terrion Arnold, man, I just really feel when I look at that label that the NFL gave him, a good starter within 2 years, I can agree with it, but I don't like the word good. I think he's going to be a very, very above average starter within 2 years. I don't know if he's ever going to be like a Deion Sanders or a Darrell Revis or anything like that. But we don't need him to be. We just need him to be very, very good. And I think he's going to be exactly that. Second on my list, when I was asked, who do I think is going to be the most impactful rookies? And I said, we got studs. Second guy that came to mind, Makai Wingo. And before you guys absolutely hammered me when I put up that episode I think it was about a week ago with just not even comparing, but just talking about him and Aaron Donald in the same breath. Apparently that upset a lot of people. I was not trying to say that Makai Wingo was going to be the next Aaron Donald. I mean, Lord, please let him be. Let me be wrong and let him be the same exact player as Aaron Donald production wise. And we'll have a problem on our hands for the next 8 to 10 years. Even though we passed on Aaron Donald back when he was drafted, and that still kind of haunts Lions fans. We have to get over it. Wingo is crazy athletic for a 6 foot, 284 pound defensive tackle. He got a score of 82 at the NFL Combine. Again, you can go to NFL or just Google Makai Wingo NFL Combine, and it'll take you right to the page where I'm getting most of this information. A score of 82, 7th overall for defensive tackles, and a prospect grade of 6.19. And his label was good backup with the potential to develop into a starter. Well, what I did was I pulled up the Detroit Lions depth chart, and this is all projections according to ESPN. And they said that Makai Wingo was actually going to be a 3rd string defensive tackle with Levi Onwuzurike and Broderick Martin as the 2nd stringers, which I'm partially okay with. But I have some questions about Levi and Broderick Martin. I've talked about them heavily this offseason, both of them together. I just did an episode about the 2 exact players that I'm referencing here that are listed as 2nd string on the depth chart. I have questions about their availability, and I have questions about Broderick Martin's development, and I'm not knocking it. It's a stage that he has to go through that Brad Holmes warned us about, that he was going to be a project player. So I think Makai Wingo is at least going to be in the mix for that 2nd string. And we know that Ali McNeil, DJ Reader are locked in 1st stringers day one. Those are the 2 D tackles that we're going to see out there. So really this is about who's going to be that 2nd string. I think with the athleticism of Wingo, and Brad Holmes even saying that he's gotten some reps at the edge in mandatory mini camps, that's what kind of opened my eyes and piqued my interest into maybe I need to take a deeper look into Makai Wingo and see what he's all about. Because, again, this is another SEC kid who goes against the best of the best, and he's performed very, very well. On an LSU defense that was actually a little bit down this past season. Usually LSU is very, very known for their defense, but, they were kind of underwhelmed, if I'm being honest. And, again, not here to throw shade. The SEC has been a powerhouse. Makai Wingo is going to be a problem in the NFL. He is very, very athletic with a great, great, great first step off the snap. That makes him hard to block because he's also 6 foot, so he's on the smaller side. Now someone kind of hinted that I said he was too small or something. I didn't say he was too small. I'd never once said he was too small to play defensive tackle or defensive end in this league. I said he was smaller than usual, which is I think is fair. 6 foot, 284 pounds, but he's super athletic. He's going to be hard for some linemen to block. Now, if he can use that athleticism, he's got a little flexibility to where he can bend around a defensive or a left tackle from the defensive end position. But I think he's more suited as a defensive tackle against a guard that's probably closer, not exact, but closer to size in him, like an even matchup size-wise. I think that's where he's going to really thrive. So I'm looking for, again, You cannot talk a defensive lineman without mentioning Terrell Williams of the Detroit Lions, one of the best defensive line coach. If I ever speak of defensive linemen and I don't mention Terrell Williams, shame on me. They're going to put him in positions, Makai Wingo, that is, to get those matchups against guards/centers who are roughly the same size as him. And I think that's where he's really going to be effective. So let me ask you guys this. The other question is, like I said, with Terrion Arnold being a day one starter, do I think Wingo is a day one starter? No, I obviously have already said that DJ Reader and Lee McNeil are going to be 1 and 2. But if one of them, gets banged up, has to miss some time, DJ Reader's missed some time throughout his career. So is a Lee McNeil. Like, it happens. It's the NFL. It's a big boy league. You get some bumps. You might have to miss a game or two. Who steps in for him? Is it Makai Wingo? Is it John Kaminsky, Josh Pascal, who are also listed on that depth chart at the defensive tackle position? But I personally think that they are better suited for that edge spot where they're going to have their own competition with Marcus Davenport and a couple other guys. So I personally want to just know, if something were to happen to Lee McNeil or DJ Reader, who's going to be that third guy? Is it going to be Wingo? Is it going to be Pascal, Kaminsky? Is Levi Onwuzurike going to be healthy? Is Broderick Martin taking a step forward? I don't know, guys. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you feel, but I feel like we really do have two absolute studs that are going to transform this defense, and it's exactly what this defense needed. We needed help in the secondary. Check boxes all over with our offseason. Needed help on the defensive line. Check boxes all over. Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader, Makai Wingo. Like, we've addressed a lot of situations. That's what makes me so confident that this defense is going to be top 10. So leave your comments down below. Let me know how you feel. Stick around, and I'll be back later with another show.